The PF Constitution, in harmony with Article 60 and 72 of the Zambian Constitution, provides clear mechanisms for leadership, succession, and disciplinary procedures. And all these have been abided by the Patriotic Front. We in the Patriotic Front are deeply alarmed by the shocking revelations emerging from the now viral audio involving expelled Member of Parliament Robert Chabinga and Cabinet Minister Doreen Mwamba. This recording confirms what we have long suspected, that President Hakainde Hichilema's administration is actively using state institutions and individuals like Chabinga to sabotage the PF and to manipulate legal and political processes. This, even during the mourning period of our beloved late 6th Republican President, Edgar Chagwa Lungu. I have stated before that lies have long legs. They run fast. But the truth has short legs. They run slowly, but they are strong. Whereas long legs get tired, short legs endure. And always lies will be caught up by the truth. Hakainde has always told us he has nothing to do with the destruction of the Patriotic Front. But the short legs of the truth have spoken. Finally, Chabinga has told us that actually he can receive 12 missed calls in one night from 23:30 to 2:30. Missed phone calls from no other than the one he's referring to as boss. And the boss of Chabinga is also boss of Minister Doreen Mwamba. Who could that be? You can't hide behind your finger now. Boss to Doreen Mwamba. Are you able to hide behind your finger? Lies are weak. The truth always prevails. Mwamonekera Hakainde. Let us be clear. It is very, very, very clear. The government-sponsored mission to South Africa. I will repeat that. The government-sponsored mission to South Africa by Robert Chabinga, facilitated by the highest office of the land and the leader of the pinnacle of Zambia's intelligence system, was not a coincidence. I stated already, the only boss to Doreen Mwamba is the occupant of the highest office in the land. It can't be any junior. It's the highest office in the land. And the Friday Nyambe that can be involved in this cannot be any other but the Friday Nyambe that all of us know. The one who leads the pinnacle of Zambia's intelligence system. And that couldn't have been a coincidence. No. Especially when phone calls were being made in the wee hours of the night. It was an orchestrated move meant to interfere with legal proceedings taking place in South Africa. It was meant to disrupt the Lungu family's plans on where to put to rest the mortal remains of their dear father, dear husband, and our dear president. It was orchestrated to provoke political tension between nations. It was all deliberate. If it wasn't deliberate, then we're being governed by a very ignorant man. One who doesn't realize that to set up missions such as the one that Chabinga went for to South Africa is a provocation of the sovereignty of neighboring states. And if you have such an ignorant person in State House, then we as a country are like a plane with a blindfolded pilot. Chabinga's own words in the leaked video speak volumes. And they expose disturbing allegations, including attempted bribery of South African judges. It involves the mobilization of Metro Police and the claim of incoming funds amounting to $1.5 million.
Shame.
This is no play matter. This is a serious matter. Perhaps what Chabinga is trying to say to us, when he said to the police, he's going to break into a house of one of the PF members or a number of PF members who are keeping $1.5 million, and that the police must stay away. Probably this is preemptive. Probably he wants to say to us, thank you, President Hakainde, for giving me $1.5 million. When the people start seeing me using $1.5 million to destabilize PF, they must not know it is from you. They must assume it is money that I picked from some PF house. We challenge Chabinga. Can he do it tonight? Let him mobilize not only UPND cadres, but let him mobilize the police to go and ransack that house where he claims $1.5 million is being kept. The question we have to ask is, Chabinga already told us who bought him the ticket to go to South Africa. He told the whole world in that leaked video that the ticket was organized for him. Who organized it? He told us that was organized by the state with the full knowledge of Doreen Mwamba's boss. Is there any doubt anymore that all his undertakings in South Africa, and therefore all his undertakings in Zambia, are financed in a similar manner? Financed by Doreen Mwamba's boss. May I, on behalf of my colleagues in the Central Committee, my colleagues in the Council of Leaders, ask a very rhetorical question. Rhetorical because I know that no action shall be taken. Where is the Anti-Corruption Commission? Where is the Drug Enforcement Commission? When Chabinga has unveiled to us his exposed Doreen Mwamba's boss, that it is he who is financing that private surrogate. Chabinga is not a minister of state. He's not a government official. And yet he told us Doreen Mwamba's boss and the man at the helm of Zambia's intelligence system facilitated for his movement on subvert activities in South Africa. ACC, where are you? DEC, where are you? Police, where are you? A thief has reported himself. Why are you not effecting arrest? I said it was rhetorical because none of them will answer. The ACC will run. When Chabinga says, that one has money, the ACC will run. But when Chabinga says, me, I'm a surrogate, I've been sponsored to go to South Africa to go and create tension between these two sister nations, the police are quiet. To our South African brothers and sisters, and especially to His Excellency President Ramaphosa, on behalf of the PF, we have an appeal to make. We appeal to you as our partners in the liberation of Africa. We appeal to you as our neighbors that the name you are hearing parading itself as a member of the Patriotic Front does not in any way represent us. We in the Patriotic Front are not involved in these subversive activities, and we condemn them in the strongest terms possible. What we ask of you, President Ramaphosa, is to join all friendly forces to protect our rights, to mourn our late departed leader with dignity and in peace, without interference from rogue elements such as Chabinga and his sponsors. The likes of Chabinga are only being used to spark diplomatic tensions, which we condemn. We urge restraint, mutual respect, and rejection of the lies being peddled by the UPND regime. We appeal to our brothers and sisters in South Africa not to be swayed by falsehoods. We in the Patriotic Front, the party to which our 6th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, proudly belonged, together with all meaning and patriotic Zambia, across political affiliations, are united in standing behind the family of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. The protests that have been organized in South Africa are a clear exhibition of the wishes of those who sponsored Robert Chabinga to travel to South Africa. They are but just staged, managed protests by people who are paid. Even they themselves who are protesting in South Africa know that they are doing it for pieces of silver, not out of conviction. We therefore pledge our total and full support for the decisions of the family. It is our moral responsibility to ease their burden and to bring comfort, not to aggravate their grief, in the manner that Chabinga and sponsors are doing. All that Chabinga is trying to do is to aggravate the suffering of the family of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And those who are sponsoring him are likewise only intending to do one thing: to aggravate the suffering of the bereaved family. In times like these, decency, empathy, and truth must prevail over propaganda, cruelty, and political opportunism. We heard Chabinga say, let us do this to cleanse our president. Cleanse him of what?
Shame.
Chabinga, tell us the dirt around that president, which you intend to cleanse. Tell us. We have always said that President Hakainde Hichilema has his fingerprints and his footprints everywhere in the course of the destruction of the Patriotic Front. And he has continued to deny it. I ask him, Nomutulela, Babali, today, can you also say Chabinga is lying? Or are you going to join your people to say that audio was AI generated? Tell us, Bali. Tell us. Defend yourself. Tell us that you did not call Chabinga 12 times between 23:30 and 2:30. Tell us that Doreen Mwamba is also lying. Bali, I'm willing to change your name from Bali Muntuabufi, BMW, if today you can say truthfully that Chabinga is a liar. And if indeed Chabinga lied about you, the boss of Doreen Mwamba, have him arrested. Your failure to arrest Chabinga for bringing your name into disrepute will be confirmation of the fact that you are actually double BMW. I'd like to advise you, my dear brother. By now you should have realized that your strategy to destroy the Patriotic Front shall not work.
Yes.
By now you should have realized that the Patriotic Front is not a piece of paper. By now you should have realized that the Patriotic Front is not in the hands of one person. The Patriotic Front is a living spirit. And you will not destroy it. No matter how hard you try, you will not destroy it. As a matter of fact, President Hakainde, even those whom you take away from the Patriotic Front shall only be away for a short time, because they will come back to the spirit of the Patriotic Front. And they will tell us exactly how you are abusing them. And this obsession that you have to destroy the Patriotic Front has started to backfire.
Correct.
What happened with Chabinga is just the start of the implementation and rolling out of Plan B. If you think Plan B is dead, no. It is still alive and kicking.
Correct.
And President Hakainde, did I remind you that before you became president, Zambia was declared a Christian nation?
Yes.
And until such a day and time when God himself decides to remove his hand over Zambia, Zambia shall still continue to be driven by God's love.
Amen.
Any period without God's love shall just be a passing cloud. The people of Zambia are watching. The world is listening. And God is watching over his country. And I can assure you, nothing and nothing can ever be hidden from the eyes of God. God is going to expose every hidden deed. Your denial of Chabinga has been exposed. More shall be exposed, because nothing is hidden under the sun. Justice is bound to prevail. For Chabinga to tell us that he was asked to go and bribe judges in South Africa makes us wonder, how many people do you send to bribe Zambian judges? If only one Chabinga can say to you, I'm going to work on a judge in South Africa because judges must eat. The question that begs an answer is, have you experienced the act of making judges eat? How many Zambian judges have eaten? Yes. Tell us. You cannot go and try to use your neighbor's children for acts which your own children have not performed. Are you telling us, President Hakainde, that judges in Zambia are also capable of eating? If so, please be truthful. Which ones are eating? So that when we, your victims, are taken to those courts, we should go and say, this one has eaten. So that cases that we're involved in are handled by judges whom we can consider free and fair. For the record, and purely for the record, not that under Hakainde Hichilema we expect anything to take place, but purely for the record, the PF and its partners in the Tonsi Alliance will petition the courts to declare Chabinga's seat vacant. And we're doing this purely for the record. Number two, again, purely for the record, we shall call for the Anti-Corruption Commission and the DEC to immediately investigate Chabinga and his atrocious activities in South Africa. We in the Patriotic Front, together with our partners, shall submit a formal diplomatic complaint to the South African government and to SADC over the political interference and misuse of diplomatic relations. The relations that Zambia enjoys in the international community, and particularly in the SADC, has been earned over many years. President Kenneth David Kaunda, having been one of the founding fathers of the frontline movement, was succeeded by various other presidents: Chiluba, Mwanawasa, Rupia Banda, Michael Sata, and Edgar Lungu, in maintaining our relations with our neighboring countries. And this is the reason why Zambia earned itself the title of being the beacon of peace in the region. We have not provoked any neighbor whatsoever. We actually have been a seat for the resolution of regional conflicts. And whoever disturbs Zambia's relation with her neighbors, or any international country for that matter, is creating a dangerous environment, not for themselves, but for the country. As a government in waiting, we want to ensure that when we form government in 2026, our relations with our neighboring countries must be as good as they have always been. Zambia is not an island. There are many Zambian children who are studying in South Africa. There are many Zambians who are working in South Africa. Many of you travel through South Africa. Many of you have trading relations with people in South Africa. We don't want the carelessness of one Chabinga and his sponsors to destroy our relationship with our dear neighboring country, South Africa. Because of that, we in the Patriotic Front are duty-bound, morally and legally, to bring this matter to the attention of the SADC so that we Zambians are exonerated from this. We are not party to what is happening. And we denounce it in the strongest terms possible. We will not allow that Zambians should start to fear to go across the borders of our country. We are a responsible partner of the international community. We belong to Zambia, but we also belong to the international community. And we want to be respected as such wherever we go. And we will not allow Chabinga to destroy that relationship that we have. I also want to state, for the record, because I heard that Chabinga is going to beat all of us, I stand ready, Chabinga. Come and beat me. I'm always wearing PF regalia because it is not yours. PF regalia belongs to the Zambian people. And if you are threatening to beat up people in Mfue for going to campaign because you have stopped PF from campaigning, come and start with me. I am ready. And unlike your friend who was telling his supporters, when they fight, fight back, beat them. For us in the Patriotic Front and our friends in Tonse, our motto is that violence feeble. We are not going to fight you physically, Chabinga. Come and face me. And I'm sure the moment you see my handsome face, you will realize you can't slap me. The PF and its alliance partners will convene in Mfue, proudly clad in our regalia, to reaffirm our unity and our commitment to the people of Zambia. I have to say, enough is enough. We will not continue to tolerate this. Enough is enough. First, you take away our name. You go to the Register of Societies and change our certificate. Shame. Then you go to Parliament and you take away our leader of opposition and replace them with yours. Shame. And now you even drag our name in international relations and say PF, don't want a PF. Now finally you're even touching things that don't even talk. Material, chitenge. All because of your fear of the image of Edgar Chagwa. Indeed, Edgar Chagwalungu invoked fear in you in his life. But he seems to be invoking even greater fear in you in his death. Yes. Need I remind President Hakainde that Zambia is a democratic state. Zambia is not a one-man state. And also Zambia is not a game ranch. No. Yes. I'm also a headsman. I also, as a boy, used to go and head cattle. And I know how cattle behave. You go heading cattle and you tell cattle, hey, what? Move this way. Not a single one will protest, they all move. You tell Ngombe, it's time to go in the deep, they just go and jump into the deep. You tell them it's now time to go into the crow, they all just go into the crow. Yes, we learned those tactics for heading cattle, but you don't apply them on human beings. No. You don't lead human beings the way you lead cattle. Human beings are human beings made in the image of God. And human beings are meant to enter into dialogue with yourself. You will not tell us when to sleep and when to wake up, what to say and what not to say. We have our rights to express ourselves in any manner that we wish. And the Zambian people have a right to decide on the kind of life they want to lead. Yes. You will not lead us as though you are leading cattle. No, we refuse, sir. We are not in Ngombe. We are human beings. And treat us as human beings. Give us our liberty to make personal decisions. Yes. And supporting you, sir, must not be out of force or out of cohesion. No. People will respect leaders who show respect for them. You are but only one of us, President. You are not different from us. You breathe the same air that we breathe. You drink the same water that we drink. Don't forget. You walk under the same sky like every Zambian. So please treat us with mutual respect. And I'd like to emphasize that no amount of leaked audios, bribes, or fake press briefings by expelled impositors will alter the will of the people. No. It has not been exposed that the infamous leaked audio is not the product of artificial intelligence, as falsely claimed. But it's a real conversation involving real individuals who knew exactly what they were discussing. So don't hide behind AI. No. How can AI start speaking Bemba? Huh? AI is chewing fish and chicken, and you say it's AI. AI was able to recognize the people on the plate. What bores about. First, we had some fellow from State House saying the letter from Deputy Secretary to Cabinet concerning the travel of President Edgar Lungu was a product of AI. And then quickly somebody else also from UPND confirms that and says, yes, it was a product of AI. That letter was a product of AI. And now, Attorney General KBF produces that same letter in court and says, yes, this letter, and he admits it. Yes, this letter was written by Deputy Secretary to Cabinet. That's what liars do. Liars contradict themselves. That's the reason why they say there is no honor among thieves. And there cannot be honor among liars. That letter which they said was a product of AI has now been proven to be an authentic letter. And now they want to say that the audio of Chabinga is also a product of AI. Kwa indidi na tuwapenda mwatubeja kwa indidi amulenge mwalegali ni kubeja basa please tuwajimu mwatubeja now it is so laughable that the whole State House, and you know, my friends, State House has many supporting staff, plenty, very intelligent men and women, and they thought that they can dupe the Zambian people and the South Africans by saying, we're hiding behind this Chabinga of AI. We spoke about SADC. We also want to urge the UN. Zambia is an integral part of the United Nations, and therefore must be protected by the statutes of the UN. And the UN common position on addressing global corruption, and I'm talking about global corruption because this is the favorite word of Hakainde Hichilema. His surrogates are saying the Edgar Chagwa family don't want President Edgar Lungu's mortal remains to be buried in Zambia because they are fearing court cases. How? What is the relationship? Even when President Edgar Lungu was ill, Madam Esther Lungu was being subjected to coming into Zambia in the morning to attend court and travel back to South Africa in the evening to go and attend to a sick husband. How can anyone claim that we're trying to use the body of Edgar Chagwa Lungu to run away from these trumped-up charges? No. Like I said, the common position on addressing global corruption emphasizes that corruption-related findings and recommendations, whether through the Universal Periodic Review Mechanism, the UN Human Rights Council, or human rights treaty bodies, must be acted upon by the UN. Zambia, under the authoritarian watch of President Hakainde Hichilema, has already been found guilty in international reports of human rights violations and systematic abuse. We therefore call upon the UN to take a stand on this matter. They cannot publish reports and not take a stand. We call upon the UN to take a positive stand to ensure that the human rights abuses by Hakainde Hichilema are stopped. This is a very damning indictment of a government that has lost its moral compass. The world is watching, and so are the Zambian people. The level of impunity and lies has led to people even claiming that a person like myself, who has stood with the Patriotic Front and stood with Edgar Chagwa Lungu, who was his Minister of Justice, and while performing the functions of Office of Minister of Justice, would have supported an impeachment against Edgar Chagwa Lungu. How? How small is Chabinga's brain for him to even make such an allegation? Anyway, the people out there, the Zambians out there, know better. And I'll not make any further comment on it. We were also told in Chabinga's so-called extraordinary press briefing about plans to send thugs, organize lethal operations, and even steal public resources. All this he was saying while claiming that he is Patriotic Front. Let it be very clear that we in the PF dissociate ourselves totally from Chabinga. Only to say to him that he can report to his paymasters and sponsors. We in the Patriotic Front, we in the Tonse Alliance, and all Zambians of goodwill shall never be intimidated.
Yes.
We have been told about the people who are on the list awaiting arrest as a result of Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's funeral, and that they'll be arrested after Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's burial. That will not intimidate us. We shall continue to mourn him, and we shall continue to stand by the side of the family, that his mortal remains be buried or deposited outside Zambia until such a time that the environment in Zambia is good enough for us to come and finally pay our last respects and bury our dear president and his mortal remains here in Zambia. And that day is coming. We will not, in the Patriotic Front, we will not hand over our party to conmen or government agents hiding behind forged documents and audio stunts. We will not. We will also stand with the church, because we know that the church is a subject of ridicule by the UPND and its surrogates. We will stand by them because we know that they are the salt of this earth. I have mentioned a number of steps that we shall take to ensure that we protect the democracy of our country. We are also going to write a letter to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Relations of Zambia for them to clarify the role that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Zambia is playing in organizing demonstrations in South Africa against the family of Edgar Chagwa-Lungu. What is their role? Yes. What is the embassy of Zambia?
Good day and welcome to today's broadcast. We are grateful that you're joining us. Today we are privileged to host Zambia Must Prosper President Kelvin Waliafuwe, popularly known as KBF. He will outline his vision for this country, his role in bringing the opposition together, and you also take time to look at the various crises that is facing our country, which is necessitating the people of Zambia to look up to the opposition as a group that should emancipate them. Can the opposition unseat President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND? Today we feature KBF and a standby. Wonderful. Honorable KBF, Kelvin Fuwebwalia, I'm privileged to host you for the second time. We will not go into details of what makes KBF. I will refer to my audience to a special podcast I had with Honorable KBF. His upbringing from Mufulira, you know, the times, his life and times in Mufulira at the University of Zambia and his professional career. We dealt with that matter very extensively. So today we'll just deal with the actual facts. Honorable KBF, welcome and thank you for according us an opportunity to host you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Ambassador, and good evening, viewers.
Thank you very much. Honorable KBF, we have various crises in our country, economic, social, political, whatever it is, whether any sector you look at appears to be in crisis. 4 years on, President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't look like he has any solution to our country. I have seized this opportunity to be with you to see, as Zambians are looking towards and forward to the alternative, can you be the alternative? Can the opposition provide an alternative? But before we go, on 5th June 2025, we lost Zambia's 6th president, a friend of yours, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. The sad part is the matter is not concluded. While the president's soul may, be reposed with the Lord, he still hasn't been, his remains hasn't been put to rest, and it's a matter of serious concern. Let's just briefly start with the issue around the late president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. What are your thoughts and what are your condolences and what do you think should be done?
Well, sincere condolences again to the entire country of Zambia, and specifically to Vamayo Vaesta Lungu and the family of the late president, the children, friends, and political acquaintances, and indeed all those that loved the 6th Republican president. Indeed, it is still very sad that as a nation, we still cannot conclude this issue of the burial of the late president. It is unfortunate, and now it is turning out to be a very serious international embarrassment. But I might add that it is also becoming a scandal in view of the recent happenings, more so with revelations by the so-called opposition leader, for him to go and conduct clandestine criminal activity, according to his own confession, on that leaked audio, in a foreign country. That is unacceptable and totally unbecoming of us as a nation. And I say as a nation because Chabinga kept referring to State House, naming the president and naming the director of intelligence as being the operatives behind this clandestine activity. Now, let me speak legally, Ambassador, here.
Yes.
When we look at criminal enterprise, this is Criminal Law 101. Section 21, 22 of our penal code here lists a principal offender, an associate offender, and indeed an accessory to a crime.
Yeah.
In this particular case, we have Chabinga saying that he's being sent on a clandestine criminal enterprise initiated by State House, controlled by Friday Nyambe, Director of Intelligence, and he has to go and operate in a foreign country. He calls it a very serious mission. Criminally speaking, and I'm saying Criminal Law 101,
Yeah.
anybody involved in this clandestine criminal enterprise is a criminal, because we have a principal offender, an accessory before the fact, and an accessory after the fact. That's the problem we have here. And I'm speaking legally. According to Chabinga, in his own confession, talking to a minister here in Zambia, Mwamba Dorin, Minister of Community, he's telling the minister how he was employed to go into a foreign country and commit an offense. In his own words, judge ku South Africa bafuirio kudya. In other words, I should corrupt the judge in the case Yabalungu. Now, Chabinga can go and try and deny this, blame it on AI, and every nonsense that he can come up with.
Yeah.
Let me tell the Zambian people, I know Robert Chabinga. That is his voice. I know Doreen Mwamba, the Minister of Community. That is her voice. We are not children here. Chabinga was confessing to committing a crime initiated by our own government. Why isn't he arrested? I have given you the sections 21 and section 22 of the Penal Code. Criminal activities and principal offenders, associates and accomplices are named as to how you associate to a crime. And I am saying, in this particular enterprise, our government, according to Chabinga's own words, is involved in criminal enterprise. That is beyond embarrassment. That is beyond the Vienna Convention. No. Chabinga must be immediately arrested for the criminal that he is. Chabinga Mwacho and Robert, utekanye sana. You are now crossing the boundaries of politics. This is not politics. This is criminality. If you are Puwata to the fire, we should stop embarrassing this country. It's gone on too far. The Director of Intelligence, Friday Nyambe, your job is not to ensure that citizens of this country go and commit offenses in another country. Who told you? Intelligence. Fionse fifile chitika. All these happenings are very, very damaging to this country. Ambassador, we are beyond redemption in the region in terms of embarrassment, in terms of insult and scandal. It is beyond explanation. Why should our own president, according to Chabinga, instigate a citizen in the name of Robert Chabinga to go to South Africa? In the audio, for those that have listened to this audio, I'm speaking legally here as a criminal lawyer. Chabinga says, when he was asked on the plane by those going to the funeral whether he was going to attend the funeral, he said no. He lied. He said, I am going to go to Cape Town to attend to a child who had a fractured leg. Abepa, which means he was covering up his own criminal intentions because of the instructions he was given on his special mission. We are not going to be fooled. Those details can only come from a person who was given clear instructions on what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to execute those instructions. He says further, I told Friday, Mwintumina Transport, when I arrived in South Africa, I did not want the Zambian embassy officials to pick me up because it was going to raise suspicion. All this points to criminality, meaning this was a clandestine operation, so that Chabinga has got access to go and play what he terms now his mingalato with the judiciary in South Africa. How embarrassing can we, as a nation, suffer such indignation, such stupidity? Ukutumpo kwa pulamo. Ukusebanye chalo cha Zambia. Uku ekutumpa. Uku Chabinga ekutumpa. And all those that are part of this criminal enterprise must be arrested, including Friday Nyambe. Because he was the one who was giving the last minute instructions. According to his own audio, this so-called leader of opposition was receiving instructions from our director of intelligence. The director of intelligence had already received instructions, according to him, from State House. Because State House had been calling Chabinga for 13 times whilst he was asleep. Now, in law, there can be no serious evidence against a criminal than his own confession. Chabinga has confessed to a crime. Why is he not being arrested? Why is Chabinga roaming the streets of Zambia? Why is Chabinga even being given the opportunity to address the press, trying to defeat his own audio, when we know this is a cover-up because they've been caught pants down? I was in South Africa. I went for the purported burial. We were in the cathedral, that beautiful Roman Catholic cathedral in Berea, waiting for the body of the late 6th Republican president. The Archbishop of Lusaka Diocese had flown to South Africa. Like 2,000 plus other Zambians had flown and driven, plus those of the diaspora who came to join us there, plus the Lungu family. Only to learn in the recent past that Chabinga was playing Imingalato. Kutumpa kwa msango shani huko. Now, how do we trust? How do we trust the proceedings that are going on in South Africa? Because Chabinga is saying, whatever the outcome there, he has played his Mingalato. Now here's the catch. He says the intention is not even to win the case, let alone the financial, emotional inconvenience to the family and the Zambians at large, but to clean up Hakainde Hichilema as an individual. Let me warn the president of this country. Hakainde Hichilema, boy, I pray you're not involved in this. Because this now goes beyond just breaching the constitution of this country. You can Robert Chabinga, honorable, claiming that this was AI. We are not fools. Robert, I know you. I know your voice. I know how you speak. I know your tonations. And I know when you're speaking. Niwebo walelanda. We are tumpa. And don't think we are fools. Honorable Doreen Mwamba, you are an accessory to that offense because Chabinga confessed a crime to you and you did not report him to law enforcement. You too are part of that criminal enterprise. You also must be arrested. Ngani mwewe Doreen Mwamba, you don't even enjoy immunity. You're not a president. You're just a minister. Who tells you a minister cannot be arrested? Who tells you that? This power that you are enjoying, don't abuse it. Because I can warn you now. Next year, come August next year, when we kick you out of power, you know where you're going. Friday Nyambe, you as an individual, as director of intelligence, your job is not to commit offenses. is to conduct intelligence for this country, not criminality. You also an accessory before the fact. Bamwamba, you are an accessory after the fact. Because he was telling you of his own words. Chabinga says, I'm still in South Africa. I have just finished Mingalato. What is that Mingalato? What did Chabinga finish? Because in his own words, he was saying, Jaja Fidio Kudia. Meaning, he traveled to South Africa to go and corrupt a judge in a foreign country. The law, the ambassador,
Yes,
fellow
sir.
Zambians,
Yes.
is that any crime committed in Zambia